News, WAOW. Here's what's happening right now.
A new piece of legislation introduced in Wisconsin aimed at revitalizing the forestry industry. We've got you covered with what's being said.
And after a little bit of rain today, we're tracking dry weather and mild temperatures. We'll let you know what to expect.
And later, Senator Tammy Baldwin speaks with people from Central Wisconsin about tax breaks provided by the Affordable Care Act. Your news at 10 starts right now.
We've got you covered. This is 9 News at 10.
A bill was introduced today in the Wisconsin legislature aimed at revitalizing northern Wisconsin's forestry industry. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kyle Pazorski. It's a huge part of our history here, and now Senator Mary Felskowski, a Republican from Tomahawk, is hoping it can be saved. Today, the senator spoke about the bill, which she said would kickstart a private investment in Hayward of more than $1 billion for a new production mill. The mill would take low-quality pulpwood and turn it into aviation fuel. She compared the process to making that of ethanol from corn. Here's the senator during today's remarks at the Capitol.
It's about a $1.5 billion investment. This would also come with 150 jobs at the plant, but that's just the tip of the iceberg because it's the trickle-down effect that's really important here.
Along with the investment being made by the private company, state funding would be used in this, coming from tax credits and state bonds, which are already in the forestry account. Felskowski says it's forestry supporting forestry.
And the company has agreed that 80% of the wood that would be utilized in this plant will come from the forests in the state of Wisconsin.
Included in the bill is a stipulation that the mill must be in operation for at least 20 years. There has been no word on if Democrat Governor Tony Evers would support the bill if passed in the legislature. Don't be alarmed, as this Wednesday, the Stevens Point City Hall and Portage County Courthouse will both be closed for an active shooter training. This demonstration will be for all county and city employees as well as elected officials in the area. The live scenario will take place between 1 and 5 p.m. Some roads in the area will be closed for emergency services as if it were a real situation. Live gun sounds and an intense emergency services response will be heard and seen. Again, if you'll be in the area Wednesday, don't be alarmed. This is just a training. We are learning that the American Civil Liberties Union is suing several sheriff's departments here in Wisconsin, and this includes Marathon County Sheriff Chad Billup. The lawsuit claims that Billup and other Wisconsin county sheriffs have voluntarily agreed to requests submitted from ICE agents to arrest and detain people who are entitled to be released from custody. The lawsuit is being filed on behalf of the Milwaukee-based immigration rights group Voices de la Frontera. Those are some of our big top stories here at 10. Now we get to weather. Check in with 9 Storm Track meteorologist Jackson Garlick. Hi, Jackson.
Hey, it seems like a lot of people are going to be enjoying this upcoming week. We have some pretty nice weather in the forecast. Today, of course, started with some rainfall. That has since cleared across the area, but it is still raining in parts of Wisconsin. You can see while skies are clearing across the Northwoods and central Wisconsin, further south, we are seeing some very thick clouds across the southern quarter of the state. Fairly heavy rain and frequent thunder as well, though all of that outside of the 9 News area, and will continue to push away as much drier air moves in. You can see just how clear things are up to our northwest. That's a high pressure system moving into the state, and that is eventually going to bring some beautiful sunshine for the end of this week. In terms of what we have going on outside, this is our Marshfield forward camera. Right now we're at 60 degrees. We'll be dropping into the 50s tonight. Things fairly calm with the cooler temperatures and the increased moisture, though, that could create some early morning fog. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies and a low down to 57. Our daytime high tomorrow will still be in the 70s, above average for this time of year. We'll see a mix of clouds and sun. We'll let you know when mostly sunny skies are on the way coming up.
Jackson, thank you. More local news. Senator Tammy Baldwin was in Weston today, all to speak on why she believes the federal government should keep tax breaks provided by the Affordable Care Act. Baldwin met with local constituents from Marathon, Athens, and Merrill, who shared their life experiences on the rising cost of health care. Baldwin says hundreds of thousands of Wisconsinites who have health insurance through the Affordable Care Act could see their premiums rise as much as 34.5% if the tax breaks are not extended.
I have long been involved in legislation to permanently extend them, to make these part of permanent law. I do have some Republican colleagues who want to see this extended. And in the Senate, you have to do things on a bipartisan basis to get things done.
Earlier this month, House Republicans passed a stopgap bill to fund the government through November 21st, but this did not include an extension of tax credits provided by the ACA. Congressman Tom Tiffany of Wisconsin's 7th Congressional District has scheduled a special announcement for Wednesday. According to our news partners at WSAU Radio, the subject of the announcement was not disclosed, but it has been widely speculated that Tiffany will announce his run for governor. The congressman would be the third Republican candidate to officially announce that they are running, joining Josh Schoeman and Bill Berrien. Tiffany has served in the U.S. House since 2020 and has also represented both the 35th Assembly District and 12th Senate District in the Wisconsin legislature. Something to look forward to this weekend, the Trailmates Snowmobile Club Owasso will be holding a snowmobile grass drag and swap meet. The big headliner event for this is the grass drag, where, as you can guess, the snowmobiles will do a drag race on the green grass. The racing begins Saturday at noon, but the gates will open Friday for the swap meet. You can find all of the information you could ever need over at the Trailmates Club website listed there on your screen. In national news, President Donald Trump today said his administration will notify doctors about what it says can be a very increased risk of autism and a pregnant woman's use of acetaminophen. The pain reliever is commonly known by the brand name Tylenol. Trump and several members of his health team made the announcement at the White House.
So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary.
Medical professionals have long recommended Tylenol as one of the safest painkillers to take during pregnancy. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. also spoke today, saying mothers have had their voices silenced for too long.
One area that we are closely examining, as the president mentioned, is vaccines. Some 40 to 70% of mothers who have children with autism believe that their child was injured by a vaccine. President Trump believes that we should be listening to these mothers instead of gaslighting and marginalizing them like prior administrations.
Some experts have previously said autism is caused by a number of factors, and note that a suggested link between Tylenol use during pregnancy and autism is not settled science. A sigh of relief for many late-night fans as Jimmy Kimmel Live will return tomorrow night after being off the air for nearly a week. ABC's Melissa Adon has the latest details tonight from Los Angeles.
Jimmy Kimmel Live will return to ABC tomorrow. The Walt Disney Company making a statement on this announcement saying that, quote, last Wednesday, they made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. The Walt Disney Company adding that this decision was made because they felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. Now, they did spend the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and they're saying that after those conversations is when they reached the decision to return the show tomorrow night. Now, keep in mind, the move to pull Kimmel came hours after a threat from the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, who was appointed by President Donald Trump. This also happening at the same time that the media company Nexstar was seeking to merge with another local affiliate in a deal worth more than $6 billion, and that deal would require approval from the FCC chair. Now, all of this, of course, Kimmel's suspension came over comments about conservative influencer Charlie Kirk's death. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right, back here locally, a road construction notice for those who drive through Wisconsin Rapids. There are now single-lane closures on both the north and southbound lanes of the Riverview Expressway. That's the road that takes you past the old paper mill between Wilson and High Streets. Work began this morning and will run through the end of the work week. What is being done is work to seal the bridge deck. Again, the area is expected to reopen on Friday around 3 p.m. Until then, just be aware of any possible delays. The United Way of Portage County has now announced the distribution of grant funds to 5 local nonprofit organizations. $300,000 were awarded as part of the first round of the Otto Bremer Trust Community Responsive Fund. That's a fund which invests in Portage County's infrastructure and programs supporting health, childcare, and workforce opportunity. The The 5 organizations which received funding include Noble Community Clinics, the Boys and Girls Club of Portage County, Child Caring Incorporated, Opportunity Development Center, and CAP Services. And staying locally in Medford, members of the VFW Post 5729 are patiently waiting for their new building to finish construction. But first, they're saying goodbye to their old home, which has served them for 75 years. Take a look at these pictures. They were shared on Facebook by the Post, showing the turnout to Saturday night for their last party at the old building. Now they're working to pack things up and move out. A blind auction took place today, selling off some of their old items. The building will be demolished early next month, and leaders say the spirit of camaraderie and tradition will carry on as construction of the new facility nears completion. The scheduled grand opening of their new home is set for November 11th, Veterans Day. Well, still ahead here on 9 News at 10, Enbridge is presenting its case this week on the relocation of the Line 5 pipeline. Plus, Wisconsin fast food staple Culver's is bringing back a popular menu item. We've got all those stories next when 9 News returns. Welcome back. Wisconsin fast food staple Culver's is set to bring back a favorite menu item later this month, along with an exciting new flavor to the cheese curds. Beginning on September 29th, the Curder Burger will return for its 5th year on the Culver's menu, lasting through October 14th. The burger will headline Culver's first annual Curd-toberfest, a celebration of cheese curds and Midwest tradition. Also headlining Curd-toberfest is jalapeno cheese curds, launching for the very first time beginning on October 15th. That'll run to the end of the month. In Shawano County, the health department is alerting the public of a wild bat which tested positive for rabies. The bat was found in the eastern part of the county in the town of Green Valley. It followed what the health department writes was an encounter with a family pet. It's notable as the last time a rabid animal was reported in the county was back with another wild bat 2 years ago. They also wish to remind people to vaccinate your pets against rabies, all to prevent the spread of the disease. We're in the middle of a multi-week legal hearing over the future of the Line 5 oil pipeline. The hearing process that's happening now is about a proposed change around the Bad River Reservation. At hearings in Madison this week, representatives for Enbridge are arguing that the project is environmentally safe and the permits should stand. Lucas Kim has you covered on the latest developments.
Expert witnesses for Enbridge say that the relocation of Line 5 will cross wetland areas nearly 900 times. They're hoping that this will lessen the impact construction will have on the environment.
No one single project is the same.
Enbridge began presenting its case on the Line 5 relocation project on Monday. Testimony focused on how Enbridge says the construction is environmentally conscious. They called up Tim Drake from Environmental Resources Management to explain some of the materials and methods used to reduce the environmental impact. He says Enbridge did an extensive amount of fine-tuning and evaluations to make sure it uses the right methods to install the pipes.
There are 3 basic water body crossing techniques that the project will use. The open cut crossing technique, dry crossing techniques, and the trenchless crossing techniques.
The 3 methods will determine whether Enbridge will have to reroute water when installing the pipes through a wetlands area. Attorneys for groups suing over the project questioned why Enbridge chose one method over another. Drake says the process to develop the routes was detailed.
The process that was used to evaluate, develop, and assess each one of these route alternatives was a very robust project.
Experts from Enbridge will continue to push its case for relocating Line 5 this entire week here at Hill Farm State Office Building in Madison. Reporting in Madison, I'm Lucas Kim.
Now, your 9 Storm Track weather forecast.
So if you looked on your calendars today and looked at some of the fun facts, you probably saw that it's the first day of fall. I got outside, did a little hike at Rib Mountain, got to the top of the observation tower and saw, wow, it's just green still. And so it doesn't really look like fall, but it certainly kind of felt like it at certain points too.
We've been seeing that slow changeover of color. A couple of trees, especially with that cold snap that we had, definitely started to turn a bit, but we are still a ways away from peak color change, typically not seen across central Wisconsin until the second, third, or fourth week of October. So we still have about a month before things really set into their peak color. Still, we are seeing a little bit of change. You can see parts of Taylor County and Price County, Clark County, all here at 20 to 50% development. Of course, we'll continue to see those counties start to brighten up as we track into the next few days. Or next few weeks, I might say. Here's what we're tracking over the next few days. And the thing is, it's going to be very nice out there this week. While we're not at the peak color change just yet, this is going to be a wonderful week to get out and do some hiking this weekend. Looking absolutely great as well. We are looking at some foggy morning weather continuing for the next couple of mornings, especially tomorrow morning around the 5 or 6 a.m. time period. Dry forecast ahead. While there might be an isolated sprinkle and some morning fog, we shouldn't really have much for rainfall as we track forward. And the main thing you'll notice is it's going to be a comfortable week. Lots of sunshine eventually and very mild temperatures throughout the next 7 days. Here's a look at the precipitation we had today. A lot of this during the early morning. We got about 1/4 of an inch across most of the area. A couple of spots like Marshfield up to about 1/2 inch rain earlier today. Here's how much rain we're expecting over the next week. So this is over the next 7 days, and you'll notice the numbers aren't too high. So we're really not expecting much outside of a couple of isolated sprinkles or maybe some passing drizzle as we track into the next few days. You can see the rain across southern Wisconsin continues to push further southeast as high pressure starts to move back into the state. You can see a lot of clearing here to our northwest. That's what's going to be moving in eventually, though we'll still likely see at least some low clouds hang with us over here for the next couple of days. Future track forecast going to show that things getting quite gray again into early tomorrow morning. Some of that, some cloud cover moving back in, a decent bit of that early morning fog we're expecting. You can see as we move into the afternoon, a lot of that gray starts to move out. So we're talking about lightening of the clouds, a little bit of sunshine peering through, and the fog is expected to lift after the morning hours. As we track into Wednesday, it'll be about the same. A little bit of gray skies in the morning, leading way to some sunshine for our Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures remain in the low 70s. Thursday should develop a lot of sunshine by the afternoon. Then we have mostly sunny skies in store for our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Our numbers today, we are up into the 70s across the area. Looks like that needs to be updated a little bit. Our overnight forecast tonight, 57, a light northeasterly wind. Daytime high tomorrow, 71, I might say. Northeast winds of 5 to 10. You can see our visibility will be dropping a little bit towards early tomorrow morning. That doesn't look as bad as what we had in spots this morning. Extended forecast moving forward shows abundant 70s throughout the week. You can see the very sunny forecast for the weekend.
We've got you covered. And now, sports.
The newly crowned NL Central champs taking their final road trip of the regular season. Game 1 of 3 out on the West Coast this evening. Peralta giving up a bases-loaded walk in the first inning of this one. So Milwaukee in a hole, but Caleb Durbin finding himself in the same spot. Bases juiced in the second. Finds the Ivy to tie it at 1 apiece. 2 batters later, Christian Yelich now at the plate puts another laser to the gap. 2 more runs would score, although Durbin does get caught here at third. That would close the inning. Then Peralta would give up another solo shot to lead off the 5th frame, but that's where the score stands. Currently sitting at 3-2 in the 7th if you want to catch the end. Wausau West and Lakeland stepping onto the court for a marquee non-conference matchup. Both of these teams still in the hunt for their championships within their own respective leagues. Playing for pride and momentum, Warriors leading by 6 first set. Caitlin Butler puts this one on a platter, hammers it home down Broadway. The T-Birds, though, answering with a little bit of a run of their own. The sophomore Vivian Pertilli soaring up to unload the cannon. She finds the floor in a hurry. Lakeland now cuts that lead to 2. Radley's going long in this one. Both teams keeping the ball alive. Here's Carly Bloom blossoming a score for West, but it was Lakeland taking home the dub on the road, 3-1. Jordan Love was sacked 5 times in Sunday's loss to Cleveland, and to put things into perspective, he was only sacked 15 times all of last year. Injuries and ineffective play up front would lead to head coach Matt LaFleur playing 8 different offensive linemen and 4 different combinations. LaFleur also admitted he spent more time than usual preparing for this Browns pass rush, and well intended, it certainly didn't pay off. With no time to throw, Love tried checkdowns, averaging a league-low 1.6 yards per attempt. And even then, those didn't come easy.
Going into the game, there was a huge emphasis on not allowing Myles Garrett to wreck the game in terms of just trying to chip him. And typically when we chip, we usually chip and then get out as a check down, where we were spending a lot of time on him, and it did not enable some of our check downs to get out. Those other guys feasted, and they had a good day. You know, it's a credit to them.
And believe it or not, there may be a more frustrated locker room and fan base over in Madison. Fire Luke Fickell chants began to rain down at Camp Randall Saturday in that second half of the Badgers' 27-10 blowout loss to Maryland. Fickell addressing those emotions today, saying he's just as frustrated by his group's results.
I feel what their pain is, you know, but there's nothing that we can do other than keep grinding, keep working. We have to play better. So, you know, I don't get upset. I don't, lose my mind because of what the way they feel. They're passionate about what they do and what they want to see, and that's what you love about this place, and that's what that's what you signed up for when you came here, knowing that this place is passionate about it. They've got a history, and they expect more, just like I do.
And it won't get any easier. Badgers heading to the Big House this Saturday, facing 19th ranked Michigan. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.